come to my attention that some of you do not know how to use your iPads. People tell me all the time their iPads are sitting on their nightstand, just collecting dust. All they use it to do is watch TV, and I could not relate less. But I have had years and years of experience with iPads, and I thought I would share my favorite apps with you. So if your iPad is collecting dust on your nightstand, go grab it and let's download some fun new apps. I'll show you what I use my iPad for productivity, and some fun apps and like wellness apps that I use on an everyday basis. So for me, my very favorite ride or die app is always going to be a note-taking app. I like Goodnotes 6, but you have options here. You have Zinnia, Call a Note, you've got Notability. There really is a bunch of options, and they all have free trials. So you can kind of go in and see which one you like the best. But this allows you to be able to handwrite notes. This is the app that you probably have seen people use things like digital planners and things like that. It's a great app. I'm gonna do a full deep dive on Goodnotes 6 in another tutorial. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that. But if you've never tried a note-taking app, I highly, highly, highly suggest it, especially if you have an Apple Pencil, because you can really take advantage of, you know, that pen to paper kind of experience without having to open up a bunch of notebooks. Another app I really like is similar. I like the just base notes app that you have on iPad. You probably use it on your phone a ton, but it's available on your iPad as well. And the nice thing about it is that they sync. So if you have like an idea on the go, you're able to type that in on your phone and then you can access it on your iPad later. What I really like about the notes app on iPad though, is that you have more space to organize. So I have all of my notes separated out into folders. And the other thing that you can do is you can add widgets to your home screen that open directly to folders. So you're able to kind of see the notes that you have in a particular folder. And I find it to be so useful for productivity and organization. I use it for my scripts for YouTube, for TikTok, for my ideas for different projects, and I will put that folder on a particular page on my iPad. And when I go to that page, I can see my latest notes right up at the top, and it automatically kind of does that for me and keeps it updated. And I think it's just awesome. The other nice thing about the Notes app is they've recently updated it. So you're able to use math notes. That means you can like handwrite in there, write in your notes app on your iPad, but you can also write in equations. So if I wrote in like 1 + 1 on my iPad and put in the equal sign, it would put in the answer in my handwriting, and that's really, really cool. So I know a lot of people use it for their monthly budgets, for if they're trying to price out a trip. It's just a very, very convenient little tool that you have like right at your fingertips. The next app I really like is Notion. You're probably pretty familiar with Notion. I love the desktop version, but the Notion app is great as well, especially on iPad, because all the keyboard shortcuts work. So it is a really good way to use Notion on the go if you need to, and the screen sizes tend to lend to a little bit more organization than you would have on your phone. I don't like Notion that much on my phone. I'll use it, but I like it a lot more on an iPad. Next up is Freeform, and this, just like the Notes app we just talked about, is right there on your iPad for free. It's an Apple app, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it, and it's a really, really fun app. It's an open canvas kind of whiteboard style app, and what I really like it for is making mood boards just for myself if I want to, or they're a great place to collaborate with other people because you can make them collaborative whiteboards, and you're able to add all sorts of media to it. So you're able to add links, you're able to add videos, photos, playlists, anything that you can think of, you can add directly into a Freeform document, and you can share it with other people, and it's an infinite canvas. So you can squeeze it down and add another section, all sorts of things, and you can write directly in it as well. So I find this is a really fun one to use. If you want to see how I use it to vision board, I can definitely make a video on that as well, but it's really fun to play around with, and I highly, highly recommend it. Next up, let's chat creativity apps, because I really think this is where iPad shines. Of course, my first recommendation, if you are creative in the slightest, is to get Procreate. This is a paid app that I'm going to tell you 10 times out of 10 times is worth every single penny for most people. It's another open canvas painting app, but this time you're able to use really any variety of brushes to make any digital art that you can think of. If you're watching people make digital art anywhere, 9 times out of 10 they're using Procreate. It's so user-friendly. The options are really endless. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of tutorials for different things that you can do, and it's just really, really a fun way to make digital art. So I highly recommend it. But let's say you're someone who doesn't want an open canvas creative experience. You're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more gamified and less, I don't know, like you have to think about the concept right from the first idea like you would with Procreate. I suggest a coloring app. So I have a couple that I like Pigment and I like Lake. They're both subscriptions, but it's worth it because you're getting original art, like thousands of original art from artists on both of those apps. So I highly recommend them, and they are very realistic. You have a ton of brushes, pencil crayons that you can experiment with. Some of them even have like sound effects that you can turn on, and I find it to be very relaxing. So if you're someone who enjoys adult coloring, this is another great one, and it's a great way to use your iPad on a regular basis to do something that is decompressing and just overall good for your well-being. And that brings me to my next app, which is another well-being one. It's my favorite journaling app. It's called Day One. Day One syncs on your phone, on your computer as well if you need it to. And I really like the experience on an iPad because I can just take my iPad on a keyboard into my bed and journal every day, and it has made me a lot more consistent with journaling. You have prompts in Day One if you want them, or you can kind of just go, you know, and write whatever you want day to day, and you will see how often you journal, and it keeps like a little tracker, and you can go back and reread your past journaling entries if you want to. And I just absolutely love this app. I've been using it for years, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Next up is the Pinterest app. Like, I don't make the rules, but Pinterest is absolutely elite on an iPad. I love it. I also like Pinterest directly in the Safari browser, but Pinterest, the app, is a great one to have. If you don't have that downloaded, I highly recommend doing that. I think the iPad is an amazing place for inspiration, and I can't think of a better app than Pinterest. And finally, in my little creativity section, I wanted to add a little bit about video editing, because I know a lot of people like to video edit on their phones, and your iPad allows you that kind of phone experience, but with a bigger screen, and you have some more app options. So I'm gonna give you 3 options. 2 I use more than the other, but the third one actually a lot more people recommend. I like Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro, I'm not gonna say that it's perfect on an iPad, but I do like being able to live draw, and that's a feature that I will use all of the time. If I wanted to try to do that kind of animation before with my desktop, it would have been a whole to do, and now I can just do that in a couple of seconds if I want to write directly on my videos, and it adds such a creative flair, such like a fun personality bit. It's something that I really enjoy, so for me, that's totally worth it. The other app, of course, is CapCut, and the CapCut iPad app is great as well, and you get use of that large screen. And finally, a lot of people recommend DaVinci Resolve. I have not used that too much, but it is an option if that is something that you're interested in. And you also, of course, have iMovie. And iMovie about a year ago got an update as well, so they have a lot of fun new features that are built right in, and that one's free. And just for fun, I'm adding a little section on games here, because if what you use your iPad for is just watching Netflix, you can have a lot more fun with an iPad by playing some of these awesome iPad games that have more recently come out. I wish a lot of these games were available for Apple Arcade. Years ago, I would have never bought a gaming system, because for me, like, the genre that I like to play is the cozy game genre, and I certainly didn't need to spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a Switch and all the games that I have to buy individually on a Switch. On an iPad, which I already use for productivity, I just get one Apple Arcade $9.99 subscription, and I get access to all of the Apple Arcade games, and a lot of my favorite games have come to Apple Arcade. My first one being Disney Dreamlight Valley. If you have never played this game, I am jealous, because it is so fun to start from the beginning. I'm just about to start it from the beginning again, and the iPad experience is amazing. For reference, this is a $40 game on Switch, or it was when I bought it, and on Apple Arcade, you get it included. It's so much fun to play. You can move around your character and customize it, and it's kind of like a Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing-ish game. All of the games I'm gonna recommend are kind of in that genre, like farming and simulation, customization. But the Dreamlight Valley one is really fun because you have a ton of quests, and they're all with Disney characters that you probably know, and it plays really fun, nostalgic music the whole time. It's very, very fun experience. Highly, highly recommend. The next game I like to recommend all the time is Wylde Flowers. This has been out for a while. It's another really, really cute life sim, farming sim sort of situation, and you are playing a character named Tara, and you move to this little rural island to help your grandma with the family farm, and then you're finding a lot of secrets about your grandma as you interact with the other people, and you accomplish your side quests, and it has like a little bit of a witchy take to it. So if you're watching this when this goes live around Halloween time, this is a really, really fun game to play if you want to get started on something that's like a little fun and witchy. So highly recommend. And finally, a game that's a little bit newer to me, but it's totally scratching that Animal Crossing itch. And it's another reason, if this game was out years ago, I would have totally just used my iPad that I was already using, and I wouldn't have bought a gaming system. And it is called Hello Kitty Island Adventure. It again takes place on an island. I seem to like this with games, and your characters are just as cute as Animal Crossing characters, but this time they're Hello Kitty characters, and they have all of these quests, and you can do all of these little things in the game. Your movements are the same as Animal Crossing, and it works really, really well on an iPad. All of these games have really excellent graphics. So if you have an iPad, and I will say that's another place that iPad really shines, is with these beautiful displays. You're really able to get an immersive experience, and I like being able to hold my iPad in two hands like this and move around characters, and it's just a really fun time. So those are all the apps I want to cover right now. I could go on and on for years probably on games and iPad apps that I like. If there are any that you like, let me know down below. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know that as well. I am committed to getting people to use their iPads more because, again, I have found them to be this amazing magical tool that I use every single day. And I know a lot more people have iPads that then use them to their max capacity. And that's what I'm here for. So if there's anything iPad related you want to learn, let me know down below. I am gonna go. But if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It helps out this little channel so much, and I will catch you next time. Bye.